Baruch Hashem, you said it. So let's go to the Sanhedrin. So here on earth, yeah. So when we talk about the Sanhedrin, there's actually a structure. So it has to be organized on what we have here right now. So maybe the system deeper. So I talk about. You said to me there's an NGO already from the other Sanhedrin,
Yes.
and so on. And what is this? So there are also financial plans to pay the advisors and the judges and so on. Is there you spoke about it?
Yes, so we have a plan, and we just released an article on MN Global as well, breaking down very practically a suggestion for our budget for the Sanhedrin to be able to function properly. When we're talking about our alliance, we're also talking about dividing Israel into four different zones: east, west, north, and south. And we're talking about initially making sure that every one of those zones at least has a mini Sanhedrin, a small Sanhedrin of 23 judges and advisors in every one of these zones, functioning 24/7 around the clock and giving justice to all who want justice.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first step. Of course, this kind of an operation will move us from a voluntary system, which we're on right now, to a organized structural system. If we're going to need to divide Israel into four, that means every Sanhedrin is going to be in charge of administering justice and resolving issues for 2.5 million people. Okay, that's a lot of people.
Yes.
For one office, and definitely that kind of responsibility is not something that we can sustain long term with small donations of $5 to $10, or even the great fundraisers once in a while of 10,000 euros, like the Nation of Ephraim did. It's going to be a different level. It's going to be what we like to compare it to government budgets. And of course, we're very good friends with the right-wing government. We're very good friends with Itamar Ben-Gvir and the Otzma Yehudit government. We visited the Moshe Feiglin, and
Yeah.
we've been to the Knesset many times, and we've spoken at the Knesset about the Sanhedrin and so on. So we're definitely looking forward to maybe perhaps a mix of assistance from the government and perhaps private organizations and private people that think that this is the right thing, and they understand also that the Geula process starts with a Sanhedrin, and you cannot crown a king without a Sanhedrin. And also, the Sanhedrin itself brings justice to the world, something we very desperately need, and something that some people even forgot it even can be possible.
Yeah. So actually, in my understanding is so when I see the court systems all over the world, they are organized with a legal form. Yeah. So the Sanhedrin should also have something like this, maybe in a company or another an LTD, or do you think that's
So because the Sanhedrin is a religious body, similar lahavdil, not similar, but similar in certain ways to the Pope and so on. So because it's a religious body, it kind of usually sits on top of secular law, because we're closer to Hashem, and in our case, the Torah is the closest thing to Hashem that us as human beings can grasp in our lifetime. So even closer than the papacy and Christianity, even. So from that perspective, for us, Hashem is the king and the Torah is the law. And that's the way we conduct ourselves in our day-to-day life. And of course, like we mentioned this many times, the 7 rabbis of Chabad, they've been to jail many times, not because they were running drugs or part of a big mafia, but because they lived in countries and with governments that made laws that sometimes contradicted Torah law. And when they had to make a decision, of course they chose Torah law, and they chose the law of Hashem. So they got put in jail, and then eventually the governments realized these people are not criminals, and maybe they were very obnoxious about this one law because it goes against their religious rights. So when we're talking about NGOs and all these things, obviously we're not talking about it from a place that we need this authority. but we're looking at it as a tool to be able to associate with the modern world.
Yes.
People want to have a tax-deductible donation. People want to have a receipt from a nonprofit organization, and so on.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, definitely the NASA and Sanhedrin already has an NGO set up. And as I said, within the next coming weeks, they will be connecting a bank account to this NGO that we can work on together. Of course, as we spoke about in the group, that we made it very clear that we're going to really need to understand exactly all the terms of this alliance, and we're going to use it as an example for future organizations to see how to do something correctly. So for us, it's not just setting up this NGO and this bank and okay, you're doing it because you need to. For us, we're going to try to do it very slowly and carefully according to Torah and according to the justice, and try to make sure that we do it in a way that blends the correct things that we need in the Torah with the modern day tools.
Yes, I think it's very important because we have an existing world here. So what we want to do is bring this in, and there has to be a connection. And of course, you can use the existing structures and so on to bring this into reality. And
right. So this is the paradox of the soul going into the body.
Yes.
The body doesn't recognize the soul, and the soul doesn't recognize the body. But once they start to work together, they see that Hashem has a great plan for them. So we're really looking forward to that element.
Yeah. So our community wants really to know how many judges or advisors already in the other Nas and Sanhedrin. Do you know? I have some information about
So I know that they have about 300 or more judges that signed up and got smicha, but it doesn't mean that they're connected to them right now. They're kind of on standby. Again, to communicate with so many people, even with all the modern tools and WhatsApp and this and that, is very, very expensive. To make sure that everyone can join certain conferences, to make sure everyone has transportation and that everyone could make it and everyone has a Zoom and whatever it is, it's a lot of work. So once we have the greater budgets, we'll be able to and truly lock in our judges and advisors. I'm sure many of them need to feed their families and need to survive. So as long as they need to be focused on that, they cannot, just throw all responsibility into the wind and just join the Sanhedrin. But once we have at least something that we can offer our judges and advisors, then we won't have to only work with the hardcore true fighters for Hashem that are volunteering, but we'll be able to also build it what we call in a normal way in this world. So we're really hoping to do that. As far as active judges, I know that it's not very many, maybe even less than the amount, about the same amount of judges that we have. And in their group, they don't really have very many advisors. So when we have 29 judges and advisors, many of the advisors, the Rambam says if a Jewish rabbi is well versed in specific Jewish law, he can substitute a judge sometimes. So even in that case, we have more active, organized, publicly listed and available, judges and advisors right now active on mnglobal.org, and anyone can see their names and anyone can book them for a meeting or an interview and so on. However, they are not as well organized as far as the technology and things like that, and as far as websites, and they're not there yet. And they have lists and things. I don't have exact numbers at this point. Like I said earlier, we're right now dealing with first contact.
Yeah. So I think let's come together on one way or the other. So when they have judges and we have judges and they have advisors and we have advisors, it's growing together. And I think when we implemented the payment system and so on, that they can focus on their work, though knowing that they get money for that, I think then it comes more serious. The people will see that in Israel, they will see it. Okay, this is not only talking, because there's action also, and you can get something back for your invested time when you are working as an advisor or as a judge. And I think that people would see that from the outside that this is very serious project.
So Patrick, I want to speak to that because some people don't understand. They say, "Where are you holding? Are you guys already doing something, or you guys are still brainstorming?" So I want to make it clear. Over the last year, we have a very strong impact on the right-wing government, which means that in real time, we have the ears of the people in the Knesset, the people in the right-wing government, like we said, Itamar Ben-Gvir and his friends. So we speak about the hostages, we explain them the laws of the Torah, we make sure that there's an understanding and cooperation regarding Azda and regarding how to deal with terrorists. So in real time, we're having an impact on issues of pikuach nefesh, of life and death in Israel. Many Orthodox Knesset members want to know what the Torah says before they may move one step further. And that's why for many of the right-wing government to know what the Torah says changes what they do. And from our experience, the Torah is always right, and it saves lives every time. So we're already saving lives today as part of the Sanhedrin initiative. We might not have all the 70, and we might not have the beautiful, perfect picture that everyone wants to see on Mount Zion, but we're definitely having an impact in politics. As far as religion, again, we have given all the Chabad rabbis and all the Hasidic people and anyone who's listening a vision, a four-step program of how to get out of exile. So we're taking all this wishful thinking for Mashiach and transferring it into something physical, actionable, something realistic, just like the Rebbe wanted. So we're also having a very strong impact on the yeshivas. This means where the students are studying, on rabbis all over the world. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people already know what the Sanhedrin initiative is about. And this is also including nations like the nation of Ephraim and many other people in Kenya and in Africa. We have a connection with the Bet Israel international community in Hyderabad, India. We have rabbis from Japan. We have people from China. We have alliances going all over the world. So for people want to know, are we making a real impact? Of course we are. We're very blessed to be part of to be aligned with the Nation of Ephraim and with TempleCoin.org, which are contributing yearly the Machatzit Shekel for the furtherance of the Sanhedrin initiative and for the building of the temple. So, of course, we're doing real things. Of course, when I have to count how many people are involved in the establishment of the Sanhedrin, we're talking about thousands of people. But again, when we're talking about catering to 10 million people in Israel alone, opening up offices, making sure that everyone has coffee and that the doors open with the secretary and that everyone can get a chance to have their issues resolved, it's a whole different animal. And it's not something that we'll be able to do creatively or with our own energy. It's something that the nation really needs to desire and really needs to put our support behind.
So I want to also know when you see the justice system what we have today. So when you see, you can take a look in Germany, in America, you can also see it in Israel here with the secular court. The people actually voted in this democratic process to come more to the Torah. There was a majority for. But now we have this war situation and 710 and so on. And this is the reform actually what they want is not coming in. So the reform is actually pushed to the side about the war situation we have. So I want to know when we have this secular court, and you can see that it's also compromised by leftist ideologies and so on. Do you think there's a process that the people say, okay, no, I don't want to be part of this justice system anymore, but I'm looking more to the Sanhedrin, to the Torah laws and so on?
Absolutely. Ever since the Sanhedrin initiative launched, we've seen protests in Israel. People were extremely upset before the war about reform in the justice. This is what was going on. And the left were actually losing a lot.
Yes.
And the left, today people say maybe the left in Israel actually were part of the war. Maybe they were part of October 7th. So that's something to be investigated. And we don't have the results in just yet, but it's definitely an option. And we just hear that the head of the Secret Service in Israel has been fired. And it sounds very much like he's covering his tracks and he's trying to avoid persecution for being associated with information and not following protocol. Just to give you an example, one of the ministers on the right wing that we met in the Knesset, her name is Talia Gottlieb. She says in an interview that they have evidence that he knew about infiltration already 1:30 at night or so, and he didn't tell the right people. He could have avoided the whole Nova Festival massacre. He could have had them evicted. He could have had the police go in and tell everyone to go home. He could have wake up the army. He could have woken up the prime minister. He knew at 1:30 and he decided to turn around. This is I don't want to say treason right now because I'm not a judge right now in the secular court, but if the case would come to my desk, definitely would be borderline treason. We'd have to find out what happened over there. Of course, we can't judge a person if he's not in front of us, so I can't cast justice on a person. But sounds like there's a case to be had. So definitely Israel is sick and tired of the justice system.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that. And there's a great awakening.
Yes.
A great awakening, politically, spiritually, even the seculars. Everyone is just throwing stones at this justice system. And the Sanhedrin initiative is definitely part of that drama in a good way, as the solution waiting to happen.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people that are not necessarily religious, that are very, very optimistic that the Sanhedrin initiative is going to go forward. And I don't want to get into detail, but the point is that it's a very positive ground. We have a very positive amount of people. The Sanhedrin initiative is not something that the deep state put together a handbook on how to counterattack.
Yeah.
It is a surprise to them. It's a surprise to them because it's so positive, it's so pure, it's so true. It's from the Torah. It's not part of some kind of a global warming or some kind of one of their agendas. So they have nothing on the Sanhedrin initiative.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm going to finish with this and then let you get on to the next question. We in the prayers, which the Anshe Knesset Agdola, one of the last Sanhedrins put in the Jewish prayer book, we have Ashiva Shoftenu Kivarishona Ve'atenu Kivatchila. Give us back our judges and our advisors like we had before. And take away our anguish and our hopelessness. And then the next prayer, and then it goes on, Baruch Atah Hashem, praise be Hashem, Melech Ohev Tzedakah U'Mishpat, a king who loves justice and fairness and mercy. Tzedakah U'Mishpat, there's a couple of ways to translate. And the next blessing is U'Malchut Harisha Te'akeru Teshaberu Temager, that the evil kingdom will be broken and crushed. So many people in the world want to see the evil kingdom be broken and crushed. Whether it's police brutality or injustice in family courts and so on. We just had an article this week about family courts and how sometimes the agencies rush to take the children away from the parents too early. We should always try to have mercy over there, give them a year of time where they can try to better themselves, so that they don't lose their children, work with them, maybe involve in Israel some rabbis, if it's a Jewish wedding that was signed with a ketubah, a contract which is a Jewish contract. So maybe involve the rabbis, maybe they can help give some insight onto Torah. For example, that there's 3 partners in every child's birth, Hashem, the father and the mother. So as long as the parents are listening to Hashem's command, there's no reason to take their children away.
Yes.
If they're not listening to Hashem's command, then they can have the children taken away. But we have to act with a lot of mercy in these cases. And we have hundreds of cases here in Israel, unfortunately. And I was asked to write an article from some of our friends. So what I'm trying to say is that there's definitely a lot of potential here for rabbis to help social services, for the seculars to join the religious. Our Sanhedrin advisor, Sean Lee, asked me, is there any way academically or any way that we can kind of build a bridge between the secular courts and the religious rabbis? And I think the more I think about it, I'm a little bit biased because I'm a religious rabbi, but the more I think about it, I'm thinking maybe our Noahide brigade of advisors will be a good way to bridge that gap because they're like, what do we care? We want to build a bridge between these two things. So maybe that's something that will develop in the future and maybe something that we will be able to do. So definitely a lot of optimism, definitely a lot of understanding in the population in Israel and throughout the world, I hope. And we're going in a good place. We're going in today is much better than 10 years ago. 10 years ago, if there was a hostage, everyone kind of picked up their hands. Today, if there's a hostage, we will tear every house down in Gaza till we find our hostages. In other words, the fight for true justice is becoming more and more passionate. People are stopping to give excuses for terrorism. People are stopping to excuse disgusting behavior, disrespectful behavior. People are stopping to blame the victim. People are starting to blame those who are making our lives miserable. So this is an awakening of the righteousness of good in the world. Of course, all throughout this process, we all have free choice. We have to choose a side. We're going to go in the path of life. We're going to go in the path of death.
Yes, so the direction is clear, I think. Yeah. So I had some a question about the executive power. So when you see the courts, there's a structure. You have the legislative and the judicative. I don't executive order, executive power.
Legislative, executive, and
yes,
okay.
yes. Yes, and the Sanhedrin, I think it's another branch. But also, do you think that it comes that the people believing in it that also has to be an executive power?
Yes, so definitely, if people think that the Congress and the president and the justice, that balance of power was invented in America, so then I'm sorry to break it to you, it's a Jewish idea. We always had the high priest, which is the Kohen Gadol. He was in charge of basically the temple, the Beit HaMikdash. Okay. And the Kohanim were under him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have the Melech, which is the king, and the army is under the king. Then you have the Sanhedrin, and the Sanhedrin give justice to the people. The people are under the Sanhedrin. And that itself is a balance of power according to Torah law.
Mm-hmm.
So we're definitely not trying to replace the imbalance of power that we have right now in Israeli politics. And the left is just leaning into this imbalance of power with the justice system undemocratically.
Yes.
We're not trying to replace that with this Sanhedrin. What we're trying to do is start to build something healthy, something correct, something honest, something proper, something fair. And we're trying to build, hopefully, this structure of balance of power, restructure it a little bit in a way that will fit Torah law.
Yeah. Okay, but there's something like practical thinking. So is there something like a police or so justice employees? When there comes an order maybe or a solution from a judge or something like that maybe someone is doing some criminal stuff. So and the Sanhedrin decided, okay, this is your punishment. Yeah, so then we have something like a police will arrest him. Or how,
Yes, so of course our eventual goal is that we don't need police.
Mhm.
Obviously today we still do need police, but the prophecy says that instead of police we're going to have advisors, and hopefully most people, 98% of the cases, advisor will explain and jump back and forth between the judge and the person, and hopefully they will resolve the issue without any issue.
Mhm.
However, in a case where violence is needed, where police is needed, we do have a connection, and I'm not going to say names, but we do have a connection with the Nareg Vault movement, with the Hilltop Boys movement, and not just boys, also adults. And they've definitely shown eagerness to assist in that issue, as well as my friend Benad, one of our Sanhedrin advisors, which has the Tzva HaMelech HaMashiach, the army of King Mashiach, which is basically implementing all aspects of Mashiach into the army. So we have many, many soldiers with the Mashiach patch, many soldiers that are ultra-Orthodox Jews. And the way they fight is not only according to international law and secular law, but they also make sure to follow halacha and Torah. So these soldiers will be obviously inclined to listen to Torah law if it's coming from the Sanhedrin. And of course, as far as police and enforcement in real time, we have enough God-fearing men that will definitely be happy to do that, and I'm sure we'll have many Noahide volunteers as well.
Sure. So for me, it's also very important that we have a coming together. So with this another Sanhedrin, of course. And do you think there is a possibility to have a Sanhedrin conference in the next maybe weeks or something, maybe to Pasacheni or in Jerusalem, because they are in Jerusalem, or wherever you want? Do you think this?
Well, there's definitely options for conferences. Unfortunately, me personally, I have to go to work, and I'm a little bit more busy than usual. Um, uh, Unfortunately, but the fact of the matter is, definitely there's a lot of potential, and definitely I would be happy to cooperate with the Nation of Prime to do a conference. Perhaps the guys in the embassy will work on something and kind of take the wheel, maybe with Rabbi Ben Zion, and I'll this time sit on the side a little bit more, maybe be the taxi driver, but you know, let the professionals handle it. So definitely, every time we have a conference, people have to understand that every time we have a conference, more judges, more advisors, more exposure, more Kiddush Hashem, sanctifying Hashem's name, more Torah study. It's more geula in our life. It's an amazing moment when we can take a break from all the hustle and bustle and all the corruption and all the slavery of Pharaoh, and take a moment to sit at a Sanhedrin conference and study some Torah, do some prayers, give some charity, and say l'chaim in a healthy way, not in a bar upset by yourself. This is an amazing thing, and I'm definitely a proponent of it, and if I can, I will.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay. Cool. So because we have also a case which is solved by the Sanhedrin, and faster it's growing, sooner we will get our goal also. That's why we are of course interested in conferences and so on, and that this Sanhedrin is growing and growing and come to reality. So I think we have a very good news actually presented. We see another Sanhedrin initiative or another Sanhedrin that's coming together with us. And so I look very positive into the future because the solution is here. Yeah. So, and you see all the times we have now, the developments all over the world. And I think the Sanhedrin comes more and more necessary. Yeah. Because the other systems are crumbling and going down, and you see the Pope is down now, and so on. The Roman system is in trouble. Yes, and that also makes space for the justice which is implemented in the Sanhedrin thing and in the Torah. And all these things come true, and I very appreciated about this. So my questions are already gone or done. And do you want to make a closing statement, or do you have any important additions? What you want to talk about?
So yeah, first of all, thank you very much, Patrick, for this opportunity. This is important, and I felt very necessary to give the people an update, especially on such good news, you know.
Yes.
So definitely, we're very happy that this is happening. Maybe we should pan over, show the guys the flag for a minute.
Yes.
Hope it doesn't ruin the whole spiel, but
yes. Yeah, it's the right direction.
yeah. So here we have the Sanhedrin, Zion b'mishpat tipadeh v'shaveh b'tzedakah. This is the logo and the flag of the Nathan Sanhedrin. This is the group that we have aligned with. And then you can, let's zoom into our flag for a moment, or our banner. So here we have our banner logo. We have the Shoftim v'Shotrim, judges and police. You should put in all your gates, which God has given you, or in your tribes, and they should give justice to the nation, a case of justice, mishpat tzedek, a trial of justice. They have Shoftim v'Yotzei Sanhedrin Diemot HaMashiach, judges and advisors of the Sanhedrin of the times of Mashiach, the grand Sanhedrin judges and advisors. And we have on the bottom here, Tzedek Tzedek Tirdof, Leman Tichye v'Yarashta et haaretz asher Hashem Elokecha noten lach. You should chase justice, so that you should live on the land and inherit the land which Hashem has given you. So that's these two things. And I also want to just say an interesting point, which is that it's not such a big thing because in Hebrew the letters are very used a lot, but Yud Ke Vav Ke, Hashem's name, can also be Yoatzei HaSanhedrin v'Shoftei HaSanhedrin, the advisors of the Sanhedrin and the judges of the Sanhedrin. So it came to me the other day. I just thought of it. I said, wow, it's an amazing thing, because truly in this world, Hashem's gift to us is a healthy way of life where those who are doing good things are rewarded and those who are doing not good things are punished. Unfortunately, today we live in an upside down world. Whoever steals more and is more aggressive and is a cheater and is more lying and hiding the truth, he gets more. And those who are quiet and patient and sit on the side and have faith in Hashem and also teach Torah and do good things, they don't get anything. So what we're fighting for is to turn this upside down world, make it straight, so that when good people should be rewarded for the good things they do, and those who are less than good should be punished for that. So with that, thank you so much, Patrick, for having me.
Yes.
You've been a great advisor, and thank you so much for your commitment to the shows that you do. I don't speak perfect Deutsch, but
Yiddish.
Yiddish is good.
Yeah. So, but I one last thing. So, when someone is interested to become a judge or an advisor or want to know more, so how it's possible to contact you? So
Correct.
Can you give some information?
We have my information and some others, and we have it on mnglobal.org. MN is Mashiach News Global, so mnglobal.org. And you have the Sanhedrin services, you have all kinds of pages, you have the history, you have all the judges on the front page and all the advisors on the front page. You can book an appointment with any of us if you want to sign up for free 2-hour newsletter, and you will get the latest and greatest articles. We really work very hard on these articles, that they're very, very on point in regarding different issues that pop up. So you can sign up. You can also ask to be joined to the Lion and the Lamb in the Sanhedrin newsroom, and we can add you to these groups so you can join tens of other people, maybe more, that are interested in making the Sanhedrin a reality. So yeah, mnglobal.org, and of course, templecoin.org. If you want to buy some silver, you can send it you can buy some for yourself, Temple coins, and you can send some also to Israel, here to us at the Golan Embassy, and we can use it to bring Mashiach. So definitely that. And if you want to join the Nation of Ephraim, the Truth Seeker community, Patrick, where do they go?
Yeah, okay. Yes, I would say so. That was a lot of information, a lot of good developments we talked about, and I hope that we can repeat this very soon, because much more new developments. So for today, we say goodbye and see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.